but most of the lowest ranked states are red states. And when you control for category, you can see specifically where they're failing. On healthcare, the most underperforming states are red states. All of the highest ranked states are blue states. For education, it's not as stark, but blue states are overperforming red states overall, with some exceptions. When you look at the infant mortality rates in this country overall, they are higher in red states than they are in blue states. When you look at life expectancy, just take a look at the top 10 states with the highest life expectancies compared to the bottom 10 with the lowest life expectancies. Notice anything that stands out? See, this is not coincidental. It is the direct result of policies being enacted in these states. And Reddit user Trampoline Bears put together this map highlighting just general differences between red and blue states. And in his data, it also shows that higher levels of human development is correlated with blue states. Blue states are also correlated with lower COVID death rates after the vaccine became available, because we all know Republicans are anti-vax now. And it's also correlated with more civil rights for citizens, meaning more freedom. And to be clear, this doesn't mean that everything is peachy in blue states, because that's absolutely not the case. But considering the crises that these red states face in particular, ask yourself, does it seem reasonable to be focusing on things like this? As LGBTQ Nation reports, Republicans in 9 states are pushing measures to end same-sex marriage rights. Those are mostly in red states, by the way. Idaho, Michigan, Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota have all introduced resolutions calling on the Supreme Court to overturn Obergefell v. Hodges, and these resolutions have already passed in Idaho and North Dakota. In Missouri, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Texas, Republicans there have introduced bills to privilege opposite-sex marriages in defiance of Obergefell in order to trigger a challenge to the Supreme Court. But there's more. Missouri's Republican Attorney General is suing to overturn local bans on conversion therapy. Is this going to bring down the cost of eggs? I don't think so. What about this? Republican lawmakers in Iowa would make it a felony punishable with up to 5 years in prison if you choose to take your child to a drag show. This would rule out Mulan too, I guess, right? I wonder if this is going to bring down the cost of living for people living there. See, these are just some of the things that Republicans in these states are focused on in lieu of actual policies to benefit working class people. But I don't want to give you the impression that this is only a problem at the state level, because as you all know, Republicans at the national level are just as guilty. For example, the Department of Education has effectively stopped looking into civil rights complaints filed by students when it comes to discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation or race, as well as potential violations of the Americans with Disabilities Act. On top of that, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission is now just dismissing cases filed against employers who were accused of discriminating against their employees on the basis of them being trans or non-binary. And Trump has also banned the word trans from federal websites and documents, and they even removed references to trans people from the Stonewall Monument website, even though trans women led the Stonewall riots. Not to mention, he signed an executive order to not recognize trans identities on passports, and as a result, some trans people just haven't been able to get passports altogether, and the ones that have them are dealing with this type of dehumanizing bullshit, as described by actress Hunter Schafer.
My gender markers were first changed in my teens, when I first got my driver's license, and then passports following. All have been female since then. Hasn't really been a problem. However, last year when I was filming in Barcelona, our car got broken into and my bag got stolen, and inside of that was my passport, which was supposed to last me up until my 30s. And so I got an emergency passport, which was very simple at the time. It's basically just a copy of my old passport, but temporary and only supposed to be used within a year. So as soon as I got back to the States, I had to get this fixed and get it replaced with a real proper passport, which I went to the Federal Passport Agency today in LA and did. I've had to do this one time before. No part of the process was different. I filled everything out just like I normally would. I put female, and when it was picked up today and I opened it up, they had changed the marker to male. I don't give a fuck that they put an M on my passport. It doesn't change really anything about me or my transness. However, it does make life a little harder. Personally, I haven't tested it out yet. I'll find out next week when I have to travel abroad for the first time with my new passport. But I'm pretty sure it's gonna come along with having to out myself to like Border Patrol agents and that whole gig much more often than I would like to or is really necessary. And this is just my personal circumstance. And thinking about other trans women who this might also be happening to, or other trans people, the list only gets longer as far as the intricacies that come along with the difficulty that this brings into like real life shit.
And this is happening because why? What does this do? How does this help people who need help? How does this get healthcare to the people who don't have healthcare? How does this help people who are food insecure, living in food deserts, get the nutrition that they need? It does nothing to help regular people. And it's damaging to people in the LGBTQ plus community. I mean, for those who don't know, coming out is something that we all know that we have to deal with for the rest of our lives. Whenever you start a new job or you move to a new place and meet new people, there's always a decision to be made when to come out. And after that initial coming out phase to your family and friends, it's always more informal. Typically, you just drop a casual reference to your same-sex partner and whatnot. But most queer people are very deliberate when they choose to do this. They have to assess whether or not they're opening themselves up to harassment or potentially even violence. And Trump just took that away from trans people with this. Why? Because he's chosen to make them the scapegoats for all of our country's problems. And I guess the implication is if we can eliminate the threat that trans people pose, everything else is going to be just fine. Just listen to something that he said at CPAC. It is insane, even for Donald Trump standards.
It's so much wouldn't it be nice today? Of course, now we give it away to transgender this, transgender that. Everybody gets a transgender operation. It's just wonderful. No, we give it away like to crazy things.
That is profoundly fucking idiotic. He's basically saying that a good portion of our country's economic woes can be attributed to all of the free transgender operations that are taking place that we're all paying for, because apparently when nobody was looking, politicians made healthcare free in America, I guess. Sounds legit, bro. But I mean, the question is, why is there so much focus on things that affect a small portion of the population, as Britt pointed out at the beginning of this video? And the answer is because they are putting on a show. This is political theater. It is performative productivity. They're passing all of these anti-LGBTQ plus policies to make it look like they're busy, so that way they can try to convince you that they're delivering for you, when in actuality, it's nothing more than a distraction from the real agenda, which is to pass tax cuts for the rich. I mean, House Republicans just passed a budget that includes trillions of dollars in tax cuts for rich people. And do you want to know what you get out of this bill? Nothing. In fact, you get less than nothing. You actually lose money because taxes would go up for most Americans under this budget. And to finance these tax cuts for the rich, they are choosing to cut Medicaid, food stamps, and other social safety net services that help you get by. So they are literally taking money from the poor to give to the rich. It's a reverse Robin Hood. And no, their budget does not include no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, or no tax on Social Security like Donald Trump promised. But ask yourself, if Republicans were honest about all of this, and they actually said that, yeah, our only purpose basically is to steal money from you, how do you think people would respond? They'd be pretty pissed off, right? I think most people would not want that to happen. That's why they lie. They'll tell you that the wealth will one day trickle down in order to justify tax cuts for rich people, or they'll say that we're all in debt because of the trans operations that we're all paying for. Or they'll say that the real leeches are the single mothers on welfare, not the billionaires like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, who get billions of dollars in government subsidies financed by the taxpayers, by the way. So if they can convince you that your immigrant neighbor or your trans neighbor, they're really the cause of all of your problems, they're hoping that you'll direct your anger towards them and not the people at the top who who bought off these politicians to rig the economy against all of us. But the culture war is not a victimless war. Lives are destroyed in service of this attempt to distract us all by cynically pitting us against each other. It's evil. And that's what's happening. But I do think that more Americans are beginning to wake up to the game that's being played, and they're starting to understand that our collective struggle is linked, and nobody is free until all of us are free. And I say this because Republicans in town halls across the country have been getting their asses chewed out by constituents who don't like that an unelected billionaire is basically making cuts that affect them. On top of that, people across the country are beginning to stand up. There's protests taking place in every single city. There's the 50-51 protests. And it's really nice to see. Also, we saw Britt Borrell at the beginning of this video confront anti-trans lawmakers. But on top of that, when Iowa Republicans introduced legislation to abolish civil rights protections for trans and non-binary people, guess what happened? 500 people showed up to the state capitol, and this happened. You love to see it. So what needs to happen is exactly what is starting to happen. Working class people of all backgrounds have to come together to take on the billionaires who rig the economy against all of us. But in order to have true class solidarity, you have to show up for each other. If you show up for trans people, they'll show up for you. This is how we all win. Because trans people, they're also being exploited by their employers just like you, but their ability to focus on labor specifically is going to be hindered if they're primarily having to focus on their own safety and the government trying to literally erase them from existence, which is why you have to help them so they can help you. When you fight for marginalized groups, you're not just fighting for them specifically, you are investing in your own liberation as well. So we need to unequivocally reject bigotry and resist it as vociferously as we possibly can. And I applaud the people in this video, like Britt Borrell and the protesters at the Iowa State Capitol, as well as anybody else doing the same thing across the country that we didn't talk about, for leading the way.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Play stupid games.
F around and find.
Hostiles have the hard point. Got one.
How would you fat shame David Lucas?
I don't think you really have to fat shame him. He wakes up in the morning, he looks in the mirror, and he's already ashamed immediately.
Yeah, by the way, no offense to fat David Lucas. He looks like shit.
Point is secure.
Whoa, I wouldn't say that.
I just want, no offense to him, I'm just saying how it is. I love David Lucas.
Love Lucas.
He's my greatest guest on the show ever.
Are you serial?
He was on my show and everybody loved him. Why would you make the joke about this when you have no idea how it can affect the black community?
Because I wanted to.
But what? But you don't know how it could affect black people. But black people
hard
want.
point.
I'm not a
Hard
predator.
point is
Oh, for sure.
Skip the question, bro. We ain't even finna entertain that you're talking about right now, because I got children.
David
Hard
Lucas.
point is secure. Hostiles have the hard point.
Well, you don't remember me now?
Hostiles have captured the hard point.
That's even more insulting to me. I
Rest in
feel.
retreat.
Skinny white guy?
Fat black idiot.
Matan and Harlan Williams are a match made in heaven. Matan has become one of the funniest comedy podcasts on YouTube. He's a modern-day Borat. All he does is troll, and if you're unfamiliar with his style, the better it goes for him and the worse you're going to look. He got his start by trolling a gaming awards show, he trolled InfoWars multiple times, and even trolled Bad Friends. But the real comedy gold came when he had the legendary Harlan Williams on his podcast. Harlan and Matan combined for one of the funniest podcasts I've ever seen. They perfectly complement each other and nothing was taken seriously. They share a common bond in their complete disregard for what's socially acceptable. But there's another thing they share. Both have had run-ins with David Lucas. Harlan was one of the first people to roast Lucas on Kill Tony and actually win. When Lucas was on Matan's podcast, he was insufferable, mainly because he didn't understand Matan's style and completely bombed. Because of this shared past, Matan didn't hesitate to roast Lucas right in front of Harlan. But before we dive into that, it's important to understand just how well Harlan handled Matan.
Everybody, welcome back to the podcast. For today's guest, we have Harlan Phillips. Welcome in.
Yes.
Come sit in the middle, please.
Indeed.
Thanks for coming. And please just, in case anybody doesn't know you, introduce yourself.
Hey, folks. Harlan Phillips here, and my Famous father Wilson Phillips, or mother.
Sorry if I got confused on the name. I didn't know if it was Harlan Phillips or Harley Morenstein.
It's Phillips.
Yes.
Yeah, Harlan Phillips. Thank you. And you are?
Martian.
Harland always understands the assignment. Harland understood exactly how to play Matan's game, and Matan obviously respects him for it. He went along with everything from the start, even rolling with one of the craziest first questions you could ask a guest.
Do you think you have a high enough IQ to join NAMBLA? You think you have a high enough IQ to join NAMBLA?
NAMBLA.
Yes.
I don't know. Throw a math question by me. Let's test it out.
How old usually are the boys that you sleep with?
Well, I would say nothing under 24. Like,
So then you might not be, because that's North American Boy Love Association, so I would imagine they'll have to be little boys.
well, I mean, even Santa loves little boys. I mean, good. Everyone
But
loves little
Making
boys.
Love Association.
Oh, Making Love to Little Boy Association?
Yes.
God, I still have my Blockbuster card. I don't think I'm ready for that yet.
Seeing, what is that?
Oh, Blockbuster? It's a video store. Like you go, you rent a VHS. And
Yeah,
you-
but that doesn't exist anymore. You said you have a card there?
Maybe not in your mind. Maybe not in your neighborhood. But Daddy...
You have one still?
Dad, if I can finish, Daddy likes to party on a Saturday night. I pull into the Blockbuster. Daddy walks around, finds a VHS or two, takes them home, slaps them into the VHS, slaps them, just grinds them into the VHS machine, power smithers them into the VHS machine. I'll watch that thing in reverse. I'll watch it forward. And
So you're just breaking the tapes.
Daddy gets his fingers in the buttered popcorn, and he likes his fingers buttery.
You're just destroying the tapes then. You're just making like...
I'll
you're
watch
making a
them,
mess
yeah.
all around your house. There's just electronic pieces on the floor.
Guy, come on over. We'll mamble it up.
You've got to respect Matan's comedic timing. It's hard to make Harland uncomfortable, but you can actually see him tense up a bit with the question, like, what the hell did this kid just ask me? But Harland is sharp enough to connect the dots and throw it right back at Matan, knowing Matan was asking about Mensa, but swapped it with Nambla. It's tough to make either of these guys break, but when Harland starts talking about Blockbuster, you can catch Matan wiping away a smirk. Later in the podcast, Matan actually makes Harland break, which is pretty impressive, but we'll get to that in just a minute. Before we dive deeper, though, it's crucial to take a look at how not to react to Matan's style.
Do with that. That's for you, dog. Look at that. Look at that one. Oh, yeah. Put that right there.
You don't like them?
I don't give a I'm in the public image, bro. Like this will happen all the time.
So you don't mind it?
I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really cancel somebody like me who don't give a
Let me ask you this. Why would you make the joke about George Floyd when you have no idea how it can affect the black community?
because I wanted to.
But what?
Because I wanted to.
But you don't know how it could affect black people. But black people.
I wanted to do it.
But you don't know if it will offend them.
I wanted to do it.
I can't even be a predator if that's what you're alluding to.
No, Game of Thrones. What are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about?
Because I thought you were trying to.
You on some weird.
You a predator?
I'm not a predator.
No, for sure.
Skip the question, bro. We ain't even finna entertain that you talking about right now, because I got children, and that's a very sensitive topic.
The entire podcast with Lucas was cringe. He actually thought he was going to get $10,000 just for appearing on the show.
Okay.
So what about the money, though?
What about the money?
Yeah.
I would give it to you if I had some.
Nah, nigga, I'm about to call.
We could be on like we could be
making
on
a
like a
call.
perpetual team.
All right.
Well, they ain't got the money, bro.
But the camera's not. There's no camera on him.
I don't give a We don't need it to be on camera. I need my bread.
You need your bread? How much were you expecting to be?
You told me 10,000 in the text message, bro.
I would love to see it. Maybe that was Sam Hyde. He told you that. He tricked you. Because he's the one, in case anybody doesn't know, who set up this interview. Okay, let's move on. This is getting a little stale here.
So you can see why Matan doesn't care for David Lucas. He was rude, hadn't watched the podcast before, or he would have known what to expect, and he actually thought he was going to get $10,000 just for appearing. That's like giving an entire podcast revenue to the guest, maybe even going in the red, to have a guy on who was kind of funny on Kill Tony for a brief second. So with all that in mind, you can understand why Matan didn't hesitate to throw Lucas under the bus with his next question to Harlan.
Let me ask you a question. Who do you think has done more damage to David Lucas's career? Me, you, or David Lucas?
I'm going to say you.
Me?
Definitely.
Yes!
Yeah, dude. You know how to party on Fun Street.
Well, I would like to take credit for that. I would just thought it would have been David Lucas, actually.
I think it's you. No one rolls around with a big puffy fatty like you do.
Like my hair?
Well, I mean, look, it's okay.
Are you referring to something else?
I'm referring to him. He's a puffy. He's like
Him?
He's a big boy. Him?
You're saying he's fat?
He's a little chubby.
You can fat shame him. He's a fat pig is what he is.
That's what I was going to say, you big fat flubber beast. Why don't you go to SeaWorld and mount a killer whale and ride like you got arthritis in your fat calves, you cankle-sucking freak?
Let me see how to word that. What solution fat shaming? How would you fat shame David Lucas?
I don't think you really have to fat shame him. He wakes up in the morning, he looks in the mirror, and he's already ashamed immediately.
Yeah.
Imagine that guy.
How would you fat shame him? Like, he's already ashamed by himself, but how can we add on to it?
I would probably go to his house, break in the middle of the night, go to his bed, duct tape him to the bed, strip him, and rub him down with garlic butter and maybe a little rice pudding. And just,
because he wants to start eating himself.
Yeah, that's about it.
He can't control it, but it'll be tied down. He wants to start biting his arm like an autistic who, like just stimming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know David Lucas was the only Jeffrey Dahmer victim, right? Dahmer got him his apartment, ripped his clothes off, and
he's
just
the only
looked at him and
survivor?
went, oh, hell no.
Oh, hell no, like a fat black woman, too.
Dahmer?
No, like the way you said it, like, oh, hell no. Like, that's like what a fat black person is.
I know, but that's what Dahmer said. Dahmer, he looked one look at Lucas and went, oh, hell no.
He almost turned Dahmer into a normal person.
It's normal to me.
By the way, no offense to fat David Lucas. He looks like shit.
Whoa, I wouldn't say that.
No offense to him. I'm just saying it how it is. But I love David Lucas.
You love Lucas.
He's my greatest guest on this show ever.
Are you serial?
He was on my show and everybody loved him. They said that the only time that he was better was when you were talking to him.
Okay, David Lucas. David Lucas.
Oh, you don't remember him now?
I don't remember him.
That's even more insulting to him, I feel.
Skinny white guy?
Fat black idiot.
Someone needs to let Rogan know this is how you have a podcast with Harlan Phillips. I swear this podcast is just an experiment to see which comedians take themselves too serious. Harlan understood exactly how to do Matan's show, and Matan obviously respects Harlan. Great episode. Harlan is a legitimate pro. He knew how to give Matan his props, all while not slandering David Lucas, but still playing along to keep the show from getting awkward. If these two had a podcast together, it would easily be one of the funniest podcasts out there. Matan asked Harlan who's done more damage to David Lucas's career. It was because Harlan was one of the only people to completely destroy Lucas in a roast battle.
Harlan Williams, what's up, dog?
What's up, my guy?
I know you need to get home. Harlan Williams got to get home because he left a crock pot on.
Whoa, hey, take it easy, bro. You're the only guy I know has muffin tops on his ankles. I thought this guy had a tattoo of the Monster Energy drink logo on his stomach. It turned out to be a stretch mark. This is the only guy I know. Everyone else in the country has Lyme disease. This guy's got key lime pie disease.
Yo, this motherfucker.
You're my bitch tonight. How about that?
You can see why Matan would ask who's done more damage to Lucas, Harlan, or David himself. Harlan was ruthless, and David had no idea how to respond. But what makes Harlan great is that he acts like an idiot, just talking nonsense like Norm Macdonald would. But underneath it all, his brain is working faster than anyone in the room. He's like those alligators that pretend to be drowning to attract a human, only to destroy them when someone's dumb enough to fall for the trap.
Take that! Got him! He missed me, but he celebrated.
Wow, what kind of pie is that, do you think?
I don't know.
Teach those pathetic
All right.
Where did the pie go? It's all over the floor now.
Control Bravo.
I don't know why you did that. It's now empty.
Oh.
Now, well, it smells good in here after that last accent you did now, at least.
I think we can inspect David Lucas any second now that there's a pie on the premises.
Oh, well, he'll start eating it off the floor like the lasagna guy from earlier. It's all right there for him.
You like lasagna? I just saw a twinkle in your eye.
Not
You a lasagna
it's
guy?
okay.
Talk to me, guy.
Nothing
Power
special.
jam a lasagna? Will you Hammersmith a lasagna on a frosty Friday night? Oh, look at that. Suck it deep.
I don't even want to
Stink
eat
it.
it. That's this. We haven't cleaned these sheets in like 2 years.
You didn't have to tell me.
No, well, it should be kind of obvious, but let's move on.
David's stomach probably took 10 minutes to sink when he saw the thumbnail. What makes this podcast so great is that these two are in perfect harmony. Matan doesn't care what he says. His whole goal is to say the most socially unacceptable thing possible. The views and interactions come from people's reactions to the crazy things he says. Harlan is perfect for this kind of podcast because while he doesn't cross any lines that could get him into trouble, he brings his own unique style of humor, pulling the thread and taking the joke as far as he can go.
What should we do with loud minorities?
Duct tape them?
Yeah, we already went over David Lucas, who is a loud minority, but like another solution.
Give me an example of a minority, because there's so many. Can we refine it down to a specific minority?
No, we're gonna be
all minorities.
Indian, Mexican, black.
Take your Bravo underway. We're losing Alpha.
What other minorities are there?
Australians?
They're minorities, they're basically just white.
Yeah, but look at them.
That was the end of the David Lucas bashing, but the best part of the podcast and what I mentioned earlier was when Matan makes Harlan break. It's a true testament to how funny Matan is. Matan mentions Dr. Oz, and like Harlan does, he goes off on a tangent, starting to sing a song from The Wizard of Oz. That's when Matan asks a question that finally makes Harlan break and laugh like he's in church trying to hold it in.
Oh, the land of Oz.
The land, like he's like a landlord?
A merry, merry land and a merry, merry place where everyone has a funny, funny face and the streets are paved with gold. And no one ever grows old in that funny place called the world of Oz, you fat. Suck a blueberry pie through a Chinese garden hose and suck Free Willy's puffed out calamari ring and carry on, suckface.
Would it be considered cheating if you killed your wife before? What are you laughing at? You look like you're going insane.
I am, child. I am. Sorry, ask it again.
Yes. Would it be considered cheating if you killed your wife before? This is gonna be the response I get every time.
Oh, go ahead. It's just I love murder. It cracks me up.
Okay, one more time.
Up, so kill me, Pat.
That's all I got.
Give me that old time religion.
Hostile UAV established overhead.
It's weird. Judgment by my enemy. It is a screenshot from an article from News Channel 8. I believe this is, we'll go for CNBC. Florida streamer Destiny sued over cyber sexual harassment court documents, which we will be talking about today. We will be talking about. I'm glad that we finally had a streamer join the ranks of Florida Man. I think it was just about time that streamers started representing the crazy Floridians along with them. Dude, the statement "judging by my enemies" continues to hold strong. It continues to hold strong. You really can judge someone by their enemies. You really can. Like, oh my God. Oh my God. We already had Nick Merckx for Florida Man streamer. That is true. That is true. But like, Nick Merckx hasn't done anything crazy yet. He's done like normal conservative shit, which is like be transphobic. He hasn't had anything like criminal occur yet, or any civil lawsuits against him yet, right? So moving on. The article reads, the Florida-based live streamer and YouTube personality known as Destiny was accused of sharing sexual content of a woman without her consent or knowledge. A federal lawsuit filed in the Southern District of Florida on Tuesday alleged that Destiny, whose real name is Stephen Cabanel II, sent a sexual video to a random fan who then spread them to various websites. The plaintiff, Jane Doe, identified in the lawsuit by only by her influencer username, Pixie, had a sexual encounter with him in 2020, according to the complaint. The lawsuit that said that Pixie was a smaller, wait, I'd like to make the text a little bigger for anyone who happens to be on mobile. Let's see. Lawsuit said that Pixie was a smaller content creator with 15,000 followers on X and 10,000 followers on the live streaming platform Twitch, compared to Benel's 840,000 YouTube subscribers and the over 700,000 followers he accumulated on Twitch before his account was banned. Both Pixie and Destiny created politically oriented online content. Benel was also accused of sending the sexual video to a fan identified as Rose in 2022. 2 years later, the video appeared on the online message board Kiwi Farms and spread to other sites, whose caption listed the video subject as Pixie and Destiny and garnered tens of thousands of views, according to the complaint. Attorneys for Pixie claimed the leaked video went viral across social media. The lawsuit alleged Benel admitted to sharing the video in a Discord message when confronted by Pixie in November 2024. And this is the brutal part, okay? WDenim, she respects mobile users. Even though you had to respond 5 minutes after I made that statement, I'm trying my best for you guys, man. All right, I am. I get it. I've been there before. It's not good living. On the rare occasion that I have to be on my phone, it's not good living. It's not. I'm still on the waiting screen. Anyways, this is probably the worst part. The quote being used in the Discord, the quote being used is the Discord message where he says, there shouldn't be, no. Benel said when asked if he shared additional videos of Pixie, according to the complaint, I'm so sorry, there's literally no excuse. I'd had phone convos and stuff with this person. They were fairly close to me. It's worthless to say it at this point, but I'm super sorry. There's literally no excuse. I can't believe we get to do this is your lawyer, keep going meme and actually be legitimate here, man. This is your lawyer, Epstein. Keep going as much as you can. Just keep going. Keep harassing women on the internet. This will do really well for you in court. Yes. It'll look really good for you in court that you love to harass women on the internet. So just keep going as hard as you can, as long as you can, man. I'm sure a judge and jury will find you to be very innocent. He's doing the Ethan strat of talking when he should shut up. Let's see how it plays out. It's a bold move. I mean, I don't know. Okay, plaintiff's attorney alleged that she received hundreds of insulting and harassing messages as a result of the leak, and claimed Benel's followers discussing the leaks on different accounts falsely claimed the plaintiff exchanged sex for professional growth and favors from Benel. Court documents said the lawsuit claimed Benel also made disparaging comments about Pixie, including claims that she was, quote, just after his money, which, like, I mean, I know you guys aren't fucking morons, so you don't believe this talking point, but it's literally so nonsensical at this point to pretend like this strategy worked.
Capturing this objective.
Like, follower counts and view counts speak for themselves. If this was the strategy, where's the payout? This strategy doesn't work. It's the same thing as when people accuse women that come forward as doing it only for clout. It's never worked before, but surely this time it worked. And it's not, first of all, it's not true, but two, even if it was true, why don't we look at all of the stuff relating to the original Hollywood Me Too movement and talk about the fact that actually that's still bad? Like, it doesn't matter if you're using your power knowingly to exploit women for sex because you're offering them collabs or whatever. Like, that's bad. We saw that with regard to the countless men in Hollywood using their power for sex. This is like, it's always bad because you have so much power in that position that you are you would be bordering on coercion. Or you could be, rather. You could be bordering on coercion when there's that much of like a power difference between people. But it's also not true. Like, this is just nonsense, right? The lawsuit laid out additional complaints against Bunnell, including allegations that approximately 15 women reached out to the plaintiff to tell her that they had received sexually explicit images from Bunnell of other women without the other woman's consent. In the wake of the video leak, last month, Bunnell repeatedly told his followers that his only crime was being too much of a slang term for someone who is deeply engaged in excessive adult X-rated content consumption, sometimes in a compulsive or obsessive manner, according to the complaint. They didn't want to put the word gooner. Me when I commit a crime, Your Honor, I'm just gooning. Your Honor, I should be acquitted, for I am but a gooner. Yes, that is a good legal defense. Famously, gooning makes everything legal and fine and dandy and good and okay. Oh my God. Incredible that the lawyers had to make a legal definition for gooning. And we'll read the lawsuit because I think the lawsuit's pretty easy to get through, and I think it's worthwhile to go through all of it. Denim, what's your thoughts on gooning? Goon safely, goon often, but most importantly, goon legally. Okay. Wouldn't it be better to watch his statement? Yeah, let me watch the known liar make his statement, disparaging the victim, insulting her, releasing more personal images. I think that's a good strategy. Yeah. You're right. I can't see anything wrong with that. No, but keep defending your sex pest, dude. Keep going. For sure, man. For sure. He's only been caught deleting evidence. He's only been caught lying about various women for decades now. He's only been caught leaking information without consent for how many times has he done it now? Do we even know? Do we even have a count at this point? Yeah. Let's hear what the sex pest has to say. That's a good strategy, I think, for sure. Yeah. No, I'm going to read the fucking lawsuit, you moron. I don't give a fuck what you go on Twitter and say. I think a lawsuit holds a lot more weight than, and like official documents presented in court hold a lot more weight than someone making a fucking twit longer being like, actually, I'm based. I think you failed to consider that I can rewrite narratives. Yes. Oh my God. He broke a court order by revealing her name in the live stream she was referring to. She was referred to as Jane Doe. I'm your lawyer. Keep posting, dude. Keep posting. Guys, the sex pest investigated himself and he found no wrongdoing. He's actually just, his biggest crime is that he just cares too much. You know, he's just such a nice guy and he just cares so much. You can trust him. He only shares porn of you without your consent. You can trust this guy. Don't worry. He's a good guy. He's only harassed tens of women before. He's a good guy.
Actions have consequences.
He's a good guy. It's just that he goons too much. Oh my God, dude. Is he going to jail? I mean, Cherry said that she filed a police report, I believe. I believe that was her public statement. Let me pull it up. I don't want to misrepresent anything, so let me go look at her Twitter. Yes, she said she would be filing a police report and she would be pressing charges. Did you see the chart Philip DeFranco posted on YouTube? Hassan haters are going to be mad. I don't think I did. You can link it, chatter. The bot will time you out, but I'll see the link because I'm omniscient. So I know that Pixie is filing a civil lawsuit. I believe primarily because her contention is that, or her issue is that videos of her were shared to other people without her consent. And you guys know Florida's a shithole state. So I presume that criminal charges are going to be really difficult. Cherry, on the other hand, another one of the victims, came out and said that she would be filing a police report and that she would be pressing charges. And her crimes are more severe, and I believe they occurred in a different state. I'm not sure which state. But she was recorded without her knowledge during a sexual encounter. And that's like, I mean, have any of you guys seen the Hulk Hogan case? I know before Hulk Hogan became insane. I mean, I think all of us knew that Hulk Hogan was a little bit insane, but how many of you guys know about this court case? I guess like one's if you know about it, two's if you don't know about it. Oh, okay, so a lot of you guys don't know about it. It was Balea, I think that's how you pronounce it, versus Gawker. It was a lawsuit in 2013. The verdict was delivered in 2016 and it sued professional wrestler Terry Jean Balea. Balea? Everybody knows him as Hulk Hogan, okay? Hulk Hogan sued Gawker Media, publisher of the Gawker website, and several Gawker employees and affiliated entities for posting portions of a sex tape with Heather Clem, at the time the wife of radio personality Bubba the Love Sponge. Hulk Hogan's claims included invasion of privacy, infringement of personality rights, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. How long ago was this? I mean, this was like over a decade ago at this point. Prior to trial, his lawyers said that the privacy of many Americans was at stake, while Gawker's lawyers said that the case could hurt the freedom of press in the United States. He sought $100 million in damages. In 2016, the jury found Gawker Media liable and awarded Balea $115 million in compensatory. Oh my God, this is one of those words that your brain just gets fried on. Compensatory. You guys got it. Damages and $25 million in punitive damages. 3 months after the verdict, Gawker filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection and put itself up for sale. Gawker Media assets, not including the namesake website, was subsequently sold to Univision Communications on November 2nd, 2016. Gawker reached a $31 million settlement with Hulk Hogan. This is the background of the case for anyone who's still confused or doesn't know what happened. In 2006, Hulk Hogan was videotaped while having sex with Heather Clem. At the trial, he claimed that the videotape was without his knowledge or consent. On the Howard Stern show, he told Stern that he slept with Heather with Bubba Clem's blessing and encouragement because he was so burnt out from the trauma of his coming divorce that he finally gave in to the relentless come-ons from Heather, who kept going down that road. Okay. I don't really care about these people's interpersonal relationships here. I think that that's less important. But the more important part is that he was recorded without his knowledge or consent having sex with this woman. Bubba testified that he burned the video to a DVD, wrote Hogan on it, and put it in a desk drawer. On October 4th, 2012, Gawker editor published a 2-minute extract from the 30-minute video, including 10 seconds of explicit sexual activity. So this guy, this guy recorded it and sent it to Gawker. To publish, which they published. Hulk Hogan's lawyer denied Hulk's motion. Oh, no, sorry. No. Hulk Hogan's lawyer was Charles Harder, U.S. District Judge, denied the motion, ruling that a validity of copyright was in question, given the degree to which Hulk had already put his own private life into the public area, the publication of the video might be protected by fair use. Withdrew his case. He initially tried suing for copyright infringement, which was, not good enough. Later withdrew his case, and then he sued Gawker in Florida State Court. His request for an injunction was granted. He announced that it would not comply with the part of the court order requiring the removal of the post and associated commentary because it deemed the order risible and contemptuous of centuries of First Amendment jurisprudence. Gawker removed the video itself, but linked readers to another site hosting the video. So Hulk Hogan tried to file a motion for injunction, basically forcing this publication to remove the video, but that didn't work, and they chose to take it down themselves and just tell people, go watch it somewhere else. The injunction was quickly stayed on appeal and was denied again.
What's the haps?
And then later, the 6-person jury consisted of 4 women and 2 men. The trial lasted 2 weeks. During the trial, Gawker argued that Hulk Hogan made his sex life a public matter. Although on cross-examination, when asked by Hulk Hogan's lawyer whether a depiction of his genitalia had any news value, former Gawker editor AJ Dollario responded no. Hulk Hogan said that comments made in interviews were done in his professional wrestling career, an online persona different from his own. The court showed a taped deposition where Dollario said that he would consider a celebrity sex tape non-newsworthy if the subject was under the age of 4. Huh? What do you mean by that, man? What do you mean by that? He later told the court that he was being flippant in his response.
Underwhelming effort.
Anyways, later, the jury delivered a verdict in favor of Hulk Hogan. The jury awarded him $15 million in compensatory damages, which included $60 million for emotional distress. TLDR, the Hulk Hogan case, which I think is pretty semi-relevant here. He was recorded without his consent, and it was published without his consent or knowledge, by the way, recorded having sex without his knowledge, and a court gave him $150 million in damages. Why is Florida a shithole state? It's because the people who run that state. Because the people who run the state. One of the best tweets ever. Me and all my friends at 10 p.m. Ninja Turtle movie brother HH from 2014. Holy shit. Was this taken with a flip phone? Oh, God. Anyways. There are criminal charges against Diddy's lawyer. And by Diddy, I mean Destiny. According to Cherry. But the lawsuit that's currently being talked about is Pixie's lawsuit, which is a civil lawsuit. No, read how he spelled ninja. I'm not reading that. I'm not reading that. You're crazy. All right. Moving on. Let's see. Quote, the videos disclosed by Bunnell were part of private nature and never intended for public distribution. Defendants' actions have caused plaintiffs serious emotional distress, humiliation, and reputational harm. The lawsuit alleged plaintiff's career as a political streamer has been adversely affected and her aspirations of being elected for office have been greatly diminished. Attorneys for Pixie alleged Bunnell violated a federal revenge porn law and a Florida cybersexual harassment law. They also claimed that Bunnell intentionally inflicted emotional distress upon her and violated her privacy. Lawsuit called for a jury trial to determine the monetary amount, if any, needed to compensate Pixie, as well as a potential injunctive relief against Bunnell, compensation for attorney's fees, and further relief to which plaintiff may be entitled. They reached out to Bunnell for comment on the lawsuit, but we did not immediately hear back. Ooh. Oh man, he didn't hear back. Oh man. Okay, all right. Right, here we go. This is a lawsuit. It's not too long, and most of it is pretty layman. Like, none of it is really that complicated, I guess is the way to best say it. It's written pretty plainly, so I wanted to get through it. It should be pretty easy to get through. Okay. So it is a Jane Doe plaintiff versus Stephen K. Bunnell II, defendant. Complaint to the Honorable Court comes now. Plaintiff Jane Doe, by and through her undersigned counsel, and very respectfully states, alleges, and praise as follow. Nature of action. This action seeks to hold defendant accountable for his unauthorized, intentional, and unlawful disclosure and dissemination of intimate images and sexually explicit videos of the plaintiff, thereby causing plaintiff extreme emotional distress, depression and anxiety, and harm to her personal and professional reputation. Plaintiff seeks injunctive relief, compensatory
So I have successfully baited the Zionist propagandist Ethan Klein into dedicating an entire segment, like a 30-minute long segment of his ridiculous podcast, to just complaining about me. I'm not exactly sure what his podcast is actually about, because everything that I've ever seen about it is just him complaining about what people say about him on social media. It's nothing but that. Like, he has like what? 2 dozen employees of this podcast, and the whole thing is just like totally dedicated to Ethan Klein, like searching for himself on social media and complaining for like 4 hours straight about what people say about him. What a great subject for a podcast, really. But the context of this is that I have been refuting Ethan Klein's disgusting pro-Israel, pro-Palestinian genocide arguments 4 or 5 months now, and he has specifically avoided mentioning me, like I was the fucking devil for him. He would even censor my name out of his podcast when other people said it in clips that he was watching, because he knows that he does not have any chance of coming out looking like anything but a disgusting bumblefuck genocide propagandist moron if his audience has to actually see what I have to say about the facts and the arguments, and particularly the fact that I have literally refuted every single disgusting lie that has ever come out of his mouth in a way that he has no way possible chance of ever responding to. So Ethan specifically avoids debating me or other people who also know about the topic, who have challenged him, like Hassan Piker, for example, because he is particularly afraid of being confronted on this in a live environment where his claims can be scrutinized and he can be held to account for them in real time before a live audience. He constantly challenges other people to a debate, like people aren't even creators, like he invites random Reddit commenters onto his stream to have a debate. And by the way that he debates is he has like a podcast, and he has like 10 sycophantic, pathetic loser crew members who he pays, and all of them like furiously spend the whole time asking questions to ChatGPT to feed Ethan talking points. So it's not even like you're debating Ethan Klein, it's like you're debating a bunch of fucking morons desperately asking ChatGPT for how to justify genocide of all Palestinians, please help me, and then sending like the answer to Ethan Klein, and Ethan looks at his laptop and he's like, oh, but what about this thing that they all just sent me? It's fucking pathetic. But the thing is, I would happily debate Ethan Klein, even with those sycophants there, even with like 10 different fucking people all furiously Googling and ChatGPTing for him the whole time, because I'm right and he's wrong. And the generic Zionist talking points that he will get fed from his crew are stuff that I've already dealt with 1,000 times before when Ethan and others have said them. I have no problem with that. So Ethan, stop being a fucking pussy little bitch and debate live. I'll debate you and your 10 staff members, no problem, all at once, 1 on 10, no issue. I'm right, you're wrong, you know it. That's why you avoid me and what I actually say. And it's pathetic because what got him to finally address me was not the multiple debate challenges that I've made to him, not the multiple videos that I have made, utterly destroying every single talking point that he's ever made to defend the disgusting Israeli genocidal states. No. It was the one thing that I said specifically to debate him that I was fairly sure that he would get baited by, and that he actually did. Because you see, me saying, Ethan, you're a pussy, you won't debate me over and over, didn't work. But what did work is saying that he is a meek little bitch who is being pushed into being more and more of a genocidal Zionist by his wife, because ultimately he's a pathetic white guy who got honeypotted by the IDF on birthright, and he will never stand up to her even slightly. He will alter his opinions to whatever she wants them to be, and that's what's going on here. So I brought that up, and that is what finally baited him. And the funny thing is, like, I posted this in an Instagram story. I don't even have followers on Instagram. My Instagram stories get like 1,000 views, and somehow Ethan Klein saw them. So once I noticed that Ethan Klein was finally acknowledging me, that he was finally responding to me, he wasn't actually responding to the substance or anything, the things that actually matter, like the facts, the evidence, all the shit that he has lied about to justify genocide, but he instead responded to me like calling me ugly. That was it. He called me ugly because I said that he's a meek little bitch who is controlled by his wife. And once I saw that, I knew that I had him by the balls. I knew that I could get him to do whatever I want. I could make him dance my jig however I wanted to. Because this guy is the most fragile, porcelain, insecure person I have ever seen in my life. Anyone who says anything negative about him, unless it's of course an argument based on facts and evidence, he simply cannot not respond. So I followed it up. And the reason why I followed it up was 2 things. One, I wanted to bait him into accidentally acknowledging the video where he touches himself to a victim of a terrorist attack who he calls a juvenile who was 17 years old at the time of the terrorist attack. I'm not going to play the video here, but it will be linked in the comments down below, in the pinned comment down below if you want to look at it. I've gone over it before on my stream numerous times. I wanted to force him to bring up that video on his stream, either accidentally or sort of feeling like he had to address it because I talked about it, and he ended up bringing it up. So now potentially some of his audience knows of the existence of this disgusting video and how it disproves his ludicrous narrative that he is against terrorism and he's like especially like an advocate for victims of rape when he himself fantasized about raping a victim of terrorism while touching himself while Hila Klein filmed him. Secondly, I just wanted to create the ground for him to get so flustered, so angered that he might finally agree to this debate with me. Of course, I don't think he's going to, but hey, you never know. You know, this guy's on the point of breaking, and perhaps debating me or even Hassan could be like his last gasp before he finally needs to get put in an insane asylum, because he's literally just obsessed with social media criticism. Like, the guy does not do anything anyway. Like, his show is nothing but talking about people saying bad things about him on social media. People don't like him on social media. People criticize him on social media. He doesn't actually have a main channel or anything that people are criticizing. No, he has a podcast where he does nothing but complain about being criticized on social media. Then people criticize him for what he says about that. And then he has another podcast episode after that where he just talks about what people said about his last podcast, complaining about people criticizing him on social media. What in the holy fuck sort of content is that? It's no wonder that his average views have fallen from 20 million a month a year ago to 10 million a month this year. The ship is sinking. He's going to go bankrupt soon. But anyway, it's time to watch Ethan Klein's whole entire segment on Bad Empanada on the H3H3 podcast. And I have to say, if you dedicate an entire segment of your supposedly serious podcast to like going over Bad Empanada Instagram stories, you might just be spiraling into the abyss. You might just be the lowest point of your life. I just want to note as well that context for this that is very important is that Ethan Klein on his podcast outright openly acknowledged that he lets his dogs shit all over his mansion and he just leaves the shit on the floor, something that is probably related to the fact that his former housekeeper is suing him for a number of different reasons. So I would assume he doesn't actually have a housekeeper anymore, or perhaps he lost his extra housekeeper. So now the house is just like covered in dog shit. And he has kids, and his kids like crawl into the dog shit, and God forbid, I don't know what they do with it. I don't know if they eat it or if it's just from like contact with it with their hands or something, but they contracted a parasite that I had previously never heard of in my life called Giardia from the dog shit that is all over his house. So I made fun of him for that, and that's important context because I refer to that a number of times in the stories that Ethan Klein goes over. And I want to note first that Ethan Klein skipped over the first few stories that I made, because initially I posted 2 stories challenging him to a debate, and then I posted a 3rd story where I just like went for the jugular and said that he's a meek little bitch who's controlled by Hila, who's a terrorist, by the way. And on his podcast, he skipped over those 2 and went straight to the 3rd one because he wants to fucking avoid the debate challenge. He's a fucking meek, cowardly little bitch who knows that if he actually has to address the facts and the arguments, he will get destroyed. And that's why he specifically avoids me and others. That's why he's talking about like, oh, Bad Empanada is an international criminal. Like, he literally says that I'm wanted in multiple countries in this clip, by the way. He will make up fucking anything to avoid addressing the facts and the evidence. It's literally just ad hominem all the way down. So let's check this out. Regarding Bad Empanada's recent stories, by the way, I never post Instagram stories. The only reason I posted them is because Ethan Klein only communicates through fucking Instagram stories. Like, he's afraid to use a medium where people can actually respond to him directly, like Twitter, for example, or something like that. So he only posts on Instagram stories where people can't respond. So I decided, hey, if that's how you get to Ethan, I'm gonna use his favorite little medium, and it fucking worked. Anyway, let's check this out.
This is stuff he tweeted out today. Ethan's this is from yesterday. Ethan's a meek little bitch, and everything he says and does is because he's terrified of his wife leaving him and is desperate to stay in line with her whims. She's the only one to ever pretend to like him, and it's just pathetically obvious what's going on. And by the way, this was posted on Hassan subreddit. I mean, we've been...
Huge W, Hassan subreddit.
And we have 3 kids.
No one has ever been known to have kids with a meek little bitch for reasons aside from love.
By the way, he looks like this.
You ever notice how Ethan Klein always seems to like try to make people look more Muslim or more Arab? You ever notice that? Like, he went and found a picture from 2019 of me with like the longer beard. Like, he had to go like back quite far to find this picture. And I think that's pretty interesting. Like, he seems to associate like a longer beard with being negative. And I think we all know the reason for that. It's his hatred of Arabs. But like, his response to that is like, by the way, he looks like this. Ethan, you will just do anything to avoid actually addressing the points, won't you? You will just do anything to avoid debating people. Like, oh, but you're ugly. Like, what the fuck kind of a response is that? Are you a child, Ethan? Well, yeah, you are. You're 40 years old. By the way, I don't understand how Ethan's like considered like a funny guy, like a comedian. I'm not a comedian or a funny guy, but I'm funnier than him, like 1,000 times funnier than him. He doesn't make jokes. He's not funny. He's not witty. He's not smart. He's not quick-witted. The only times that I've ever seen Ethan Klein trying to be funny, it's like he thinks that just like saying something that you're not supposed to say is humor. That's why he's been doing Nazi salutes lately, because like just doing something that you're not supposed to do, except ironically, that's the epitome of humor to him. That's also why he made numerous videos where he disgustingly lusted over teenagers, because ha ha ha, pedophilia. You're not supposed to be a pedophile, aren't you? That's funny, isn't it? That's all of his humor. He's just not funny at all. Anyway, so let's see what else he has to say aside from haha, you're ugly, which coming from him doesn't really fucking mean much. I mean, Jesus, dude, come on.
I don't even know.
Why is he always like sniffling and coughing? Like, can you imagine being on a date with Ethan Klein and trying to hold a conversation, and like 40 out of 60 seconds, he's just sniveling and coughing the whole fucking time?
Say damn word.
Let's just say that there's a reason why he's desperate to cling on to the Zionist terrorist wife that he's got now.
She's the only woman to ever pretend to like him, and it's pathetic. Just take that in, guys. No comment.
It is.
Ethan's a meek little bitch. He's terrified of his wife leaving him.
He is.
This guy said right here.
He's even zooming in on the beard. Isn't that an Islamic beard? That's a pretty Arab beard, isn't it, Ethan? Perhaps it's even Hasidic, you could say. Could this guy for 2 seconds not make it clear what the whole game is?
Just take it all in, folks.
Let's take you in, Ethan. Let's just take you in. I would like to see you attempt to hold a conversation with anyone, man, woman, anyone, who does not already know who you are, and hold their attention for more than like 10 seconds, let's say. I think they would walk out of the room after you spend the entire first 10 seconds coughing and sniveling.
Just take it all in.
This guy's a 40-year-old man, and his way of arguing is to like play funny soundboard noises and call you ugly. All of this to avoid having to deal with the actual point, which is he is a genocidal Israeli propagandist.
Holy bananas.
Holy banana.
Holy macaroni.
You got anything to say, Ethan, about the fact that I have refuted every single little thing that you say and proven that your wife is a terrorist? Anything to say about that, Ethan?
Wow.
Your wife is a terrorist. Wow. I know how to get to him. I know how to get to him. Returning to her herd. Back to her family. She's finally returned to where she came from. Spitting image right there. Look at that. Separated at birth.
This was a shout out to the subreddit. Love them.
Wow.
Hassan said, if you ever get around to watching Game of Thrones, you'll appreciate that I'm...
Okay, so this is like an edited, funny screenshot of Hassan. Very funny. I mean, when they try to be funny, it's even worse.
Khaleesi, and like her, I happen to have a few dragons. For better or worse, but usually for better, because my dragons also protect those I fight for.
It's not funny to read in a funny voice something that someone else never said, Ethan. And this isn't even funny in the first, like, it's just not funny. You're not funny. Nothing about you or your fans is funny. All of you are just deeply unfunny people, and I don't understand how you pertain to be a comedian.
So really, we all benefit from those gorgeous monsters of mine. Who are his dragons? Bad Empanada, Mike from...
Whoa, this is so... Dude, this is so funny. Everyone's laughing.
Fierce warriors.
Who are Ethan Klein's dragons? No one. No one likes him. Everyone fucking hates him.
Well, and then Bad Empanada today was threatening me in real life. He was saying he was on a plane coming to get me.
Oh, please show us. Show us. Oh my God, the snivels. Listen to this fucking guy. How do you listen to this shit?
Frankly, this is a joke. Oh yeah, so I think Bandit Benata must have seen this clip, and this is what tipped him off.
It's pretty pathetic that you think that I would be interested in you.
Where does he actually talk about the rest of it? Hold on, I'm trying to get to him talking about my stories or whatever. So let's check out the Instagram story that he claims is a threat against him, a threat of violence. Someone called the police immediately.
I think we've been over all this, haven't we? This is all old stuff.
Yeah, it was just to, it was to correct the record on that.
Here's Bad Empanada from today. Let's see. I'll read these in order, I guess. 40-year-old man skips over the multiple debate challenges.
Yes, exactly. You skipped over multiple debate challenges to just say, I'm your ugly.
Whatever, I don't care about this one.
Then he says, whatever, I don't care about this one. After he notes what was said after that. What was said after that, Ethan?
Yeah.
No wonder his house is covered in dog shit, and his neglected children raised by nannies have contracted parasites previously unknown to science from the feces. I wonder why he skipped over all of this, because everything that he said, everything that I said in this story, which by the way was apparently compiled by his crew without them realizing that Ethan would not want to see me acknowledging that he was skipping over my debate challenges to just post you're ugly, and he definitely would not want to acknowledge the fact that him letting his dogs just leave shit all over his house caused his children to get an obscure parasite that I had never heard of until his kids got it. Incredible. Amazing.
I'll read these in order, I guess. 40-year-old man skips over the multiple debate challenges. Whatever, I don't care about this one. He says, stand back and stand by. He's showing a flight to California. Which, I mean, not that I take him seriously, but because I know if he ever left Argentina, which is where the Nazis took cover,
the Nazis took cover in the United States of America, where you are actually. And they're currently taking cover there today as well. Because the Nazis are people like Hitler Klein, the IDF genocidal veterans. There's only a few places in the world where they can get off safe, and one of them is the United States of America.
I think he would be arrested if he ever set foot in America. Like, this guy is actually...
For what?
A psychopath, a wanted, likely...
Wanted? For what exactly, Ethan? Could you be more specific so that we can sue you? Please.
I know there's people lined up to get to this guy.
Ooh, who's lined up to get to me, Ethan? I have a whole video on that. It's literal fascist Zionists, like people who post dead Palestinian babies to their Telegram groups celebrating it, Ethan Klein. Those are the people who are trying to get to me, Ethan Klein. It does not surprise me at all that you're on their side. I have a whole video about it. Let me show you guys. This video right here, fascists tried to murder me, now a YouTuber's helping them. Check it out. It goes over all of that whole saga of far-right genocidal Zionist fascists who celebrate the mass murder of Palestinian babies, trying to dox me and trying to like defame me so that people would go to my house and kill me. Check it out. Those are the people that Ethan Klein is citing here.
Here he is on a plane. Again, I don't...
Here he is on a plane. Ethan Klein, were you born fucking yesterday? Like, do you think the stock image of a plane over a sign of California was a real plane? Do you think I'm actually on a plane, Ethan? Ethan, aren't you like a comedian? Don't you like do funny jokes? Aren't you a funny man? Is there a reason why you don't know what a joke is, Ethan Klein? Why you take everything so serious all the time, or you pretend to take it serious? So that's what this guy is. Ethan Klein is like the first white man to ever successfully weaponize a white woman tears. This guy wants to speak to the manager, and he wants to speak to her right fucking now. And he's sending his fucking lawyers after fucking Reddit and shit to speak to the manager. Does it not get old having to pretend to be outraged all the time? Oh my God, he's threatening me. He's on a plane. He's coming to get me. And you say that 100% seriously as if you believe it, because you are just such a pathetic, meek little bitch that you know on any other basis aside from just pretending to be outraged by obvious fucking jokes, like a fucking stock photo of a plane. Like if you had to address the facts, you had to address everything that we have all said about you with exhaustive evidence and that we have debunked the things that you've said, your career would be fucking over. I mean, that you even have a career still is debatable, but you know what I mean. So instead it's, oh my God, he's threatening my life. I'm in danger. I'm in danger. Fucking moron.
even think this is his photo, but I think he's threatening me, right? I mean,
he's threatening you. We'll be right back. What? Was that like something that you couldn't show? He's threatening me. He's threatening me. I'm in serious danger here. I'm being threatened because I was tagged in a random Google image of a plane fuselage. I gotta say, Ethan has mastered like the Zionist fake victimization shit in record time. What a legend. What is this? You people watch this shit? Unbelievable.
So anyway, he's threatening me. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how else to interpret that.
Yeah, he's 100%. Yeah, dude, you're 100% being threatened.
Clearly unhinged behavior, right?
Clearly unhinged behavior.
This is not normal stuff here.
You are someone who touched yourself on camera to a victim of a terrorist attack who was 17 years old at the time of the attack. You called her a juvenile and talked about how much you wanted to fuck her juvenile pussy and rape her mouth. I just want to reiterate that. Ethan, please sue me. I will submit myself to any jurisdiction that you want. I'll do anything that's needed, like I'll travel, I'll open bank account somewhere, I'll even try to get residency, like wherever you want to sue me, just so that I can have a moment in court where I play that video. Please, Ethan, sue me.
If you want to criticize my videos, do that, but like, why are you threatening me?
We criticize your videos, you ignored it, and you're thinking this is threats? Oh my fucking God. You do nothing but like go after Hassan Piker's personal life in the most fucking mentally unwell ways possible, dude. How can you possibly complain about this? It's a fucking stock photo. Hey, Tree Production, stand back and stand by. You're pretending to take that seriously and be threatened
real life.
by it.
And then Hassan continually promotes this guy. And Snarkers and Fomois and all these people are continually lifting this guy.
You should take him to court and be like, you know, Ethan Klein versus Hassan Piker. He promoted a YouTuber.
Yeah, like he's some great voice in the community. It's actually
yeah,
really
because I fucking refuted everything that you ever said and you're ignoring it completely to instead act like this is serious.
Hello, I'd like to report a case of serious child
Oh my God, I got him to read about what he did to his kids.
Neglect and endangerment. These kids are literally crawling through feces and contracting all sorts of disease. And worst of all, they're being raised by Zionists.
Oh, yes. I got him to acknowledge the parasites. And it gets better from here, don't worry.
Again, the continual going after my family is really fucking...
This is not going after your family, Ethan. This is going after something that you've actually said on your stream, which is that you left dog shit all over your house and your kids contracted giardia from it, which is I'd never heard of before. I didn't know that existed until you, a millionaire with all the resources in the world, somehow are so dirty and disgusting that you gave your kids a previously unknown parasite. This is not going after your family. This is acknowledging something that you've actually said in your fucking podcast. Your kids are in danger because of you. And just to know, Ethan Klein clearly lacks object permanence here, because the whole fucking, this like chain of Instagram stories, if you can follow along with like basic logic, there's the picture of the plane in California, then the picture of me supposedly inside the plane, and the picture of the Beverly Hills Police Department with like me saying, oh, hello, I'd like to report blah, 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 all of this stuff. The narrative here was clearly that I flew to California to report you to the police for serious child endangerment and for, as we'll see in the next story, sexual harassment of a terrorism victim.
Weird. What is over your head, dude?
Oh, by the way, this is Ethan Klein recently has been speculating like about Hassan's own like sort of family love life stuff. Like he tried to frame Hassan's mother as like an illegal Mexican immigrant, and he's been like speculating about whether Hassan if Hassan has a girlfriend or something, like trying to like name and shame his supposed girlfriend as if that would fucking matter. Because Ethan Klein like doesn't understand that some other people aren't liked for their personal life. Like they aren't, you know, people don't parasocially follow along with their own little personal family stuff, like the fucking Kardashians or something. So if Hassan decides to like keep his personal life separate, like not tell people who his girlfriend is and stuff like that, and they don't talk about this stuff, dude, they are way better adjusted than you are. That's not fucking normal. Like, you made your family a part of your branding in your show. If you had not become rich off your shitty, unfunny comedy channel from 10 years ago, your IDF honeypot wife would have left you then and there. She's been completely intertwined with your content the whole fucking time. All your family stuff has been the whole time. You make it about your family. No one else does. On the flip side, when you deal with people who don't make this about their personal lives, like Hassan, you try to make it about their personal lives, desperately. These things aren't the same. You know, Hassan's not talking about whether or not he has a girlfriend on his stream. Hassan's not speculating about who his girlfriend is on his stream. You are. And I'm not talking about anything regarding your family that you have not said in your content yourself. Like them contracting parasites from fucking dog shit that you leave everywhere.
Oh, the MAGA hat. I only saw the top of it.
I was going to say, I thought
we had two of them.
I thought Hassan had his own, but you're right.
Yeah, no.
I found only one of these and two of these. So
I'll be honest. I remember he's like, "Can I have this?" And at the time, I was like, "I don't."
What is
I
this?
was like,
Why
no.
are they interrupting my segment with this shit?
Okay, you're wrong. But I didn't have the heart to say that, so I let him take it. I should have told him no. Once again, Hassan. I think just yesterday was watching some of his videos. So this is the guy, you know, I mean, I showed them the video of Ethan touching.
Oh my God, this is the best part. I successfully baited him into acknowledging to his audience that the video of him touching himself to a 17-year-old terrorism victim that was filmed by Healer Klein, I got him to acknowledge that it exists. I baited him into acknowledging this. This is better than I could have even hoped. I would have thought that his crew would have been confident enough to scrub this part from the list of stories, and here they got him to read it on stream. Like Ethan Klein, by the way, he's so lazy, he clearly does not even make his own stream content. The crew does it for him, and he just reads this without having reviewed it previously. You can tell from this. He never would have ended up reading this off of his own volition. But here, I got him to acknowledge the existence of the video.
Himself to a 17-year-old terrorist victim. And now they're on their way to check this hard drive. What the fuck?
So you see, that was the joke of the plane stories, like that I was flying to California to report Ethan for all of the shit that he refuses to acknowledge. I mean, aside from, for some reason, he bizarrely acknowledged giving his children Giardia. Aside from that, that was the joke here. And he's like, he's threatening me to fly over, and he's gonna get me. Oh my God, dude. What's up? Like, the fake outrage is so funny.
The actual fuck.
What the actual fuck? That's just me acknowledging something that you've actually given me a video, Ethan.
People are lined up to sue this guy for defamation, by the way. Like,
who is?
Actually lined up.
Who's lined up to sue me for defamation, Ethan? Ethan, would you like to sue me for defamation? For that specifically? If you do, I promise you I will do whatever it takes to become like a legal person in the jurisdiction that you'd like to sue me in. Choose any. The United States, no problem, no issue. If it's needed, and if there's a problem with the jurisdiction, like, you know, I said this when I was in a different jurisdiction, so I need to say it again. I'll say it again, just to make sure that you can sue me after I'm in the US or some other country where you'd like to sue me. And then you can sue me, and we can go over in court whether or not that statement is fundamentally true. Whether or not what I said there about you touching yourself to a 17-year-old terrorist victim is true or not. Because then we can just play the video in court, and I'd really like to see what would happen after that. If you're too much of a pussy to actually go through real litigation, we can set up like an independent arbitration tribunal or something between us. We can film it all, upload it all. It'd be great content. I would love for you to do that, Ethan. I would fucking love to have my fucking Better Call Saul moment, just playing that video and resting my case. Please, Ethan, please, line up and sue me for defamation, dude. People are lining up to sue Bad Empire for defamation. Who exactly? It certainly doesn't seem to be you. You seem too much of a fucking pussy to go after me because you know that everything I said about you is fundamentally true. This is just him complaining about me saying that his views have dropped, by the way. Like, he cares about everything. Like, he addresses everything except the multiple videos that I've made destroying his points. Like, I've made like 20 videos refuting him on the actual facts regarding Israel and Palestine. The vast majority of my content is not responding to him personally. It's responding to lies that he told to justify genocide, to justify Israel. He never responds to that. Particularly this one, Content Sar Bomb by Ethan Klein, where I destroy meticulously every single claim that he made in his supposed content Yukon Hassan Piker. He addresses nothing of any substance He just sits there talking about stock images of a plane over a fucking California road sign. He pretends to be outraged about that, as if I haven't systemically refuted every single little bullshit Israeli propaganda claim that he has ever made. He avoids addressing the real issues that actually matter, the things that people should actually care about. So instead, he only seems to care about personal attacks. I don't know. Like, his ego is so fragile. He's so insecure that all that he cares about is like people calling him names or whatever, like throwing insults his way, and not the actual issues. It's so pathetic, dude. Like, if I called him ugly, he wouldn't have been able to gloss over it, like, and just be like, okay, whatever, as I did. He would go on like a 20-minute long tangent complaining about it. That's the kind of guy that he is. The most insecure, meek little bitch in the world.
In just 1 year, the monthly views of the H3 podcast have more than half.
You can't be this much of an insecure little weakling and also claim to be like a epic, edgy comedian. Those two things don't work. You're like the opposite of what you pertain to be. I am to you what you think you are to Hassan Piker.
From 20 million to less than 10 million? Well, that can't be true. When were we ever at 20
It's
million?
obviously true if you just scroll down to the graphic that shows it.
He said in the last year.
Oh, yeah, I don't.
We've been around 10 million pretty much for like a few years, which is completely
Scroll
good
down
and
to the
fine for me. I
chart.
love that.
It shows
My two channels run by one single person gets 2 million views a month combined.
Yeah, I mean, I get 1/5 of your views with what, like 1/12 of the personnel? That's fucking pathetic, dude. And I'm like a really niche YouTuber as well. Like, my content is really unapproachable and boring. So that's like another element to it. It's not even like fun, approachable content that's like algorithmically good. It's like really boring PowerPoint style video essays. How the fuck am I getting like a fifth of the views of your whole podcast with like a real production crew? What are you doing?
There's no way these losers are making enough to sustain 20. I don't have 20 employees.
How many do you have?
With just 9 million. Wait, 9 million.
What, there's like 8 to 10 at least on the crew. How much more in the like on who actually show up in the podcast? I imagine there's a lot more in the background as well. And then you also have like your housekeepers and nannies and stuff, because you certainly don't do any housework yourself. You certainly don't raise your own kids. So how many do you have? I'd say 20 is probably an underestimate.
What?
Views.
Oh, views. Bankruptcy incoming. All right. I mean, stand by. Stand back and stand by.
I am. We're all waiting for it.
Oh, he posted the stats for us.
Oh, we had actually 26 million views August of 2023.
26 million views. And
by the way, we came off break in January, which is the views always drop here in January because we take like a whole 3 weeks off. I think we took 3 weeks off. But I'm not worried. I mean,
look at the chart. Look at the chart here. This is, by the way, this is such a non-point. Like, this is not important at all. Okay? I want to know. This is not what I care about. I want him to address me directly live. Let's debate Israel-Palestine, the shit that you've said about it. Let's debate that. You can have your guys fact-checking me on ChatGPT or whatever the whole time. I don't mind. I've dealt with their generic Zionist talking points that it'll feed you a million times before. Stop being such a meek, cowardly little bitch, Ethan, and deal with the substance of the lies that you have told to justify genocide. Accountability is approaching you, and you're still avoiding it, aren't you? This is what people actually care about, the issues. They don't give a shit about your views. They don't give a shit about whether your wife controls you or not. And honestly, we don't give a shit about the dog shit all over your floor and your children contracting parasites from it. And it's so weird that you bring that up anyway. The reason why we are talking about you is because you do genocide propaganda, and we want to refute it because you are leading people into supporting genocide. That's it. So how about you talk to me about that, you fucking cowardly bitch? Instead of this, like, who cares about this? Why would you even respond to this? But it's still factually true. Like, if you look at the chart, May 2022, from May 2022, they had, on average, like more than 20 million views per month. Since then, look at this line going down. Now it's below 10 million per month. Truly pathetic. It's consistently down as well. And do you think that's related to the fact that, I don't know what your podcast was before, it can't have been any good though, like, you're not funny. What do? Do you talk about like a Minecraft YouTuber drama? Nothing of substance, that's for sure. Like, it degenerated even from the useless bullshit that it already was into just you complaining about people criticizing you on social media. So that's probably why you're down like to half of the views you used to get, you dumb fuck.
We came off break in January, which is the views always drop here in January because we take like a whole 3 weeks off. I think we took 3 weeks off.
Look at the pattern.
But I'm not worried. I mean, I think the channel's doing great. I don't know what this even is.
It's like a random story that has nothing to do with it.
But yeah, this is Bad Empanada, who's being promoted and elevated by people like that mod, who's the poor victim.
Wow, what exactly about those Instagram stories should make it like unacceptable for them to promote me or cite me or anything? Why? What about that? There's literally nothing wrong there. All that is there is you getting fucking baited and pretending to be outraged at someone coming at you with the same energy that you come at others, except I'm actually right here and you're wrong.
That moderator is allowing a post celebrating him.
Oh, you poor little fucking baby. Someone's posting about you on Reddit. You poor fucking baby.
To hit the
Why don't you sue him for it, dude? Just fucking sue him. I'm suing this Reddit moderator. I want to see a lawsuit where he complains about like a Reddit moderator allowing Bad Empanada posts to exist.
Main pages of Reddit.
If you go over Bad Empanada Instagram stories for like, what was this, like a 15, 20-minute long segment on his stream, you were at the lowest point of your life and you desperately need help.
Wait, don't take my word for it. Just listen to Hassan talking about, you have that?
About what? Sorry?
Hassan talking about Bad Empanada a year ago.
Oh, here, yeah.
Before.
Let's check it out.
So during our breakup, Bad Empanada being just a virulent anti-Semitic freak.
That's all that he knows how to do is just scream anti-Semitism. He learned it recently. Fucking moron.
Took Hassan's side and started glazing him. So,
do you think I took Hassan's side? I didn't take Hassan's side. I took the side of Palestine because you're spreading disgusting pro-Israel propaganda that I already debunked a million times before. And I've actually specifically recently been focusing on liberal Zionism, which is way worse than far-right Zionism because it tries to hide its disgusting ethno-nationalist fascism behind this veneer of humanity and like care for Palestinians. And you were a great example of that. Like you went on a fucking spree just posting the most disgusting pro-Israel liberal Zionist propaganda imaginable. And in you, I saw an incredible opportunity to expose liberal Zionism using you as an example of it. Because you just spout the talking points that they all do. So I just refuted your talking points. And I used you as like an example to tackle a much bigger and much more important issue. Because you're basically like an NPC bot that just spouts generic liberal Zionist talking points that were fed to you by ChatGPT. That is why I supposedly took Hassan's side here. This was a personal feud between you and Hassan Piker. I would not care at all. I would not have spoken about this at all. The reason why I care about it is because you are doing fucking pro-Israel genocide propaganda against the Palestinian people. That's why. Anyone who cares even remotely as much about these dumb, idiotic, personal internet creator feuds as they do the actual issues at hand is a total moron. I've criticized Hassan Piker plenty of times in the past, and I will in the future as well. But in this case, he's on the right side of the issue, and that's why I agree with him. It's also why he agrees with me. And Ethan Klein, who does not know how to do anything but ad hominem, all that he can do is, previously Hassan had like a feud with Bad Empanada because Bad Empanada said that Hassan doesn't engage with his React content enough to qualify as fair use, because that's what the actual feud with Hassan was about. That's why Hassan didn't like to watch my videos on stream. So me and him disagreed on a different issue, but we agree on this issue. Thus, Hassan started watching some of my videos that had something to do with this issue, which is you doing pro-Israel propaganda and people you invite onto your stream like Lonerbox also doing pro-Israel propaganda. It's fucking pathetic that you understand everything through little more than the lens of, but didn't this guy dislike this guy before? Maybe he still dislikes me. Maybe he does, but maybe he also thinks that I'm right on this and that's what fucking matters. Like I actually have a video, this one right here from last year, where I agreed with Ethan on something because he was laughing at Vorsh for his ridiculous showing his lolly collection on stream. And I like went over what Ethan Klein said here, and I said, you know, even the dumbest guy in the world understands that what Vorsh did here is wrong and that it's obviously pedophilia. I've also agreed with Vorsh on many things, particularly in regards to Israel-Palestine. You see, because I don't understand things just in this vein of like, this, I don't like this person, therefore I have to disagree with everything they ever say forever. But Ethan Klein does. Because ultimately, Ethan Klein's opinions aren't dictated by any sort of real assessment of the evidence or the facts or him actually caring about the issues. They're dictated by what will keep me in the good graces with the only women to ever pretend to like me. That's all.
Imagine being... Which one are you highlighting here? Dan?
Huh?
Did you highlight something?
No, I'm grabbing it right now. 1 second.
So imagine changing your opinion this much from 1 year about somebody, right, to now being like, actually, you should all go watch his videos, okay? Tell me, how does that happen? stand back and stand by as I pull this up. You got.
Oh my god, this is unwatchable, dude. How do you people watch this? They don't even have this shit ready. Like this production, you just sit here listening to him sniveling and coughing for a minute while they bring it up.
In the meantime, here Hassan wine.
This is the same as like watching my stream, where I like spend like 5 minutes just like trying to find the thing that I wanted to talk about, as I say nothing. Except I don't have like I don't claim to be a good streamer like a podcast. I don't have 10 crew members.
So yeah, he went on.
He didn't watch the clip from Sex Pest and he's ready with it.
He's been going on and on about the content nuke, but still refusing to watch it.
Edited out you showing the context of them, settlers as extremists destroying it.
Where is the video? He just moved on to something else. He's not even talking about Hassan supposedly shitting on me anymore. Hassan's bizarre flip-flopping on bad empanadas. Apparently I'm multiple empanadas now. It took him like 10 minutes to get to this, dude.
In fact, so anyway, back to the clip I was looking for.
Let's check it out.
It's
still not ready. It's still not ready. Oh my god, this is such a shit show. This is the decline of the H3H3 podcast, if it was ever at like a high point.
It's ready to go.
Thank you very much. So it's this. So here's
Hassan. It took them 10 minutes to get to this.
Talking about bad empanada from 1 year ago. 1 year ago, guys.
Amazing video about U.S.-led dictatorship in Peru. Chat will definitely like this. Age restricted, 1 hour and 14 minutes, made by a dude who fucking hates me. This has got it all, folks. Yeah, let me go watch a video about a dude who constantly talks about how I'm fucking a reactionary fake socialist because I watch people's videos. That seems like a good idea.
You see, it's all about the react shit. It's nothing. It's all about that we disagreed on the reaction video stuff. And Ethan is trying to frame this as, how is it possible that Hassan agrees with Bad Empanada's political views when they previously disagreed on this other issue that is so far away and so unimportant in comparison? Whoa, dude! What a hypocrite! It's crazy, bizarre flip-flopping.
Age restricted, which means there's like TOS violations galore in there. Fucking Bad Empanada. The cringiest, like, classic angry leftist who never shuts the fuck up and is just angry at the entire planet. You're a propagandist, dumbass. Like, do it better, okay? You
notice how it's all like, he disagrees with me on React videos. I don't like how he presents himself, suck like that. That doesn't mean that he can't agree with me in other instances. Doesn't mean that I can't agree with him in other instances. Doesn't mean that that's not what's happening here. You can't understand everything through this fucking prism of just personal relationships, personal disputes, personal politics. It's fucking ridiculous, man, that this is the level of intellect that you operate on.
Your job is to do propaganda. Do it better. I thought that Bad Empanada liked you. He used to. I think he doesn't like me because he hates he's like on board with like the React Gate shit. He's like, wow, Hassan just like reacts to videos and he's like stealing other people's.
It's literally exactly what I said beforehand. Disagreeing with him on what constitutes fair use or like ethical use of other people's content does not mean that he can't agree with me on Israel-Palestine, which is a billion times more fucking important than that.
Yeah, he does not like me. I'm never gonna watch a Bad Empanada video on the stream. I'm just letting you guys know. If you think I'm gonna fuck
Teddy Fresh,
bizarro world, bro. What the?
That's specifically because I told him not to watch my videos at this point. And I told him later that he could watch my videos because of Gaza. After the Gaza genocide, I said, this is way more important than anything about like profiting off other people's work. So just watch them if you want so that more people can be exposed to the fucking facts regarding Israel-Palestine because I care about that more, unlike you, Ethan.
He is in Teddy Fresh. This was just a year ago.
He is in Teddy Fresh. That is so detrimental to him. Huge fucking L. I hate saying that, but it really is a huge L for Hassan Piker. It also really is a huge L for Hassan Piker that he ever ran a podcast with this fucking idiot. Like, dude, you need to be a better judge of people.
He's like, this guy's the worst. I would never watch a Bad Empanada video on my stream. Fast forward, he's probably watched like, 10. He's watched them a lot.
Strange bedfellows.
He started making.
When he was making this, Hassan had watched like a total of 2 videos of mine. The ones responding to Loner Box and outing him as a genocide denier. That was all. I believe yesterday Hassan also watched 2 or 3 more of them, which were just me dissecting Ethan Klein's disgusting Zionist propaganda from the content nuke. Like, he watches my videos because he thinks they are well argued and they have factual information in them. Not because he likes me as a person. I don't think Ethan Klein can even understand that you can watch the YouTube videos without being like emotionally attached to the person making them. I'm not emotionally attached to YouTube videos. I watch like the dumbest YouTube channels alive and shit often. Like, I don't watch anything like what the content that I make. I watch like a guy pretending to believe in like UFO stories in a creepy voice. But if I operate on the level that fucking Ethan Klein does, I would like become emotionally attached to that guy and like wish that he has disputes with a billion other people. It's just so weird to me, man. Ultimately, me and Hassan Piker agree on a lot of things regarding the Israeli genocide of Palestinians and discussing this as the Zionist project. And so that's why he watches my videos on that topic. It's possible that in the future he's going to disagree with me on other topics. It's possible I might even make fun of him. I might even deride him. He might even make fun of me. He might even deride me. But ultimately, what's more important to us is the fucking issues, not just impressing our disgusting Zionist terrorist wife.
Videos about me.
And he's like stealing other people's labor. Yeah, he does not like me. I'm never gonna watch a bad Empanada video on the stream.
Anyway, sorry, but yeah, he's wearing a Teddy Fresh shirt. Just ironic.
Oh my god, a huge.
Which he said he never liked. He never liked. He always thought it was ugly.
Just letting you guys know, if you think I'm gonna fucking watch a YouTube essay from a dude literally openly antagonizing.
So he was so nice that he wore your shitty clothing just to be like, because he was your friend and he thought like it was cute and nice to wear the clothes that your brand gave him. Okay, I guess that proves that it's not shit.
Towards me watching fucking YouTube videos. You're out of your fucking mind, okay?
Yeah.
You think I want him to write like 700 hours worth of new YouTube essays about how I have wronged him? I don't want that. I don't want that at all, okay? He would perhaps benefit tremendously if I did watch his YouTube videos on this channel, but I'm never gonna fucking do that, okay?
Yeah, well.
Yes, batshit insane leftists do actually make really good content from time to time. I think Bad Empanada would be one of the better.
He just said that I made really good content, but he didn't want to watch my videos because I said that I disagree with the way that he does his reactions. That's all. That's the whole substance of this. Every single clip that he's playing here is just that. Like, do you not digest the fact that it's possible that me and Hassan Piker disagree on reaction content, and we also agree on Israel-Palestine, and that's allowed? You stupid fucker. I'm just going to keep repeating myself. I'll just let this play out.
Content creators online if he just didn't have a Twitter account. Because he's such a fucking freak, dude. Oh my lord, he's such a goddamn freak. He is the most insane person. He has like 7,000 accounts. I just said I have an official blockade on Bad Empanada videos on this broadcast while I'm live. That's number one. And number two, he's not just mean on Twitter. He is a psychopath, okay?
He does not like this guy. He really understands how dangerous and how much of a lunatic this guy is. Just 1 year ago. I mean,
how does he understand how dangerous and how lunatic and how much of a lunatic I am? Because I said that he shouldn't do shitty React content.
Because I don't want you to harass me. But he's like, I do want you to harass Ethan, though.
He's just simply mean on Twitter. He's ridiculous. He is not just mean.
How are you being harassed?
Mean on Twitter. Right. He is the most insane person on Twitter. Yeah. Perhaps benefit tremendously if I did watch his YouTube videos on this channel.
It is kind of weird how like butthurt Hassan got over me. Like, I literally said like twice that I disagree with his reaction stuff, and he got incredibly butthurt about that to the point that he talked about this like apparently like 5 times. But yeah, that's kind of lame. But I mean, ultimately just unimportant compared to everything else.
Yep. This is really good. This shows, like I said before, he was like a niche fucking free creator. Hassan has catapulted him to like some pretty, decent relevance in this space.
No, what actually happened, I mean, you can look at the same chart. What actually catapulted me to relevance was refuting you. Hassan had almost nothing to do with it. Or really nothing to do with it. Like if you watch my statistics, my recent statistics, the video that got me a lot more views and subscribers than usual was this one, and then a bunch of follow-ups that I made refuting Ethan Klein. You can see here this huge spike in subscribers on week ending October 28th. This video was released on October 24th. The video I made that Hassan did actually react to, that had nothing to do with Ethan Klein, by the way, was calling Lonerbox out for genocide denial, was this one, released on November 8th. So quite clearly, I was already getting a ton of traction long before Hassan ever watched one of my videos, specifically because you, Ethan, gave me that opportunity. You presented yourself as the quintessential dumbass liberal Zionist, just ripe to be refuted on all of the most generic liberal Zionist talking points imaginable that you ripped directly from ChatGPT, and I stepped up to the plate and did so, and I've been rewarded handsomely for it. I do not thank Hassan Parker for a single thing. I thank you, Ethan Klein, for being such a colossal dumbass that me and many others are now making fucking bank off destroying you, while also destroying your disgusting Zionist genocide propaganda in the process. Thank you, Ethan Klein. You are my best friend. You are the living reputation of meritocracy.
Hey, Switch. You think would backfire, but I guess I don't think.
Why would it backfire? Why would this backfire? Why exactly should it be impermissible for him to watch me? Because I'm a wanted criminal and all of this shit that you fucking made up, you dumb fucking moron. You're lucky you live in the US, because the US is like the only place where you can say that and get away with it.
Anything matters anymore. I mean, again, a year ago, Hassan was saying this about him.
But I'm never gonna fucking do that.
The guy who just like today was saying, I'm coming on a plane to get you. But
can you imagine pretending to take that seriously, pretending that that interpretation of that story is valid at all? He's such a fucking loser. He just has to pretend to be outraged all the time because his wife forces him to do so. So pathetic, man. I bet she told him, Ethan, you can't just let him say that about me, Ethan.
To me. That's not normal. That is not normal. This is not normal behavior.
Ethan, is it normal to touch yourself to a 17-year-old victim of a terrorist attack? To zoom in on her crotch? To talk about how much you want to rape her mouth? Is that normal, Ethan? Let us know in the comments down below.
Here.
I get him late all the time.
Can you imagine me promoting someone who's like, I'm coming to get you, Hassan. I'm going to find you in real life. And I'm like, go check out his videos, you guys.
Jesus Christ, the fake, endless fake outrage is incredible.
This guy's fucking awesome. That'd be crazy, right? You think I would get away with something like that? Nah, why not?
The Jewish KKK.
I mean, you haven't gotten away with much, but it's because people don't like what you say. It's because people don't like, for one, you being just obsessed with social media criticism, and for two, people don't like your Zionist propaganda, and that's why your audience has dwindled. So you wouldn't get away with things, but it's not so much that you're like getting cancelled. It's just people don't want to watch you anymore because you're shit. You make shit content, and you're a callous dumbass who supports genocidal settler colonial apartheid.
By the way, my point was also that Destiny got banned for calling trans activists inbred. So I said, well, if that's what gets people permanently banned, let's see what happens when...
Anyway, as far as I'm aware, that's like the end of it. That's the end of the part of this video that's relevant to me. Like Hassan watching Bad Empanadas on stream right now. Actually, no, there's more. Let's check it out.
To be safe.
It's private. It's private. So this is him right now. Ethan Klein, he's watching a video. He did an 8-minute video on my fucking one. Okay, anyway. Ethan Klein spreads Saudi genocide propaganda. Okay.
Are you going to address the actual facts in this video, Ethan?
I can see me being aligned with Saudi Arabia. And Hassan is watching this. Instead, by the way, of watching my video, which he could do very easily. And
Ethan, you keep bringing up that talking point. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter who refutes you. It doesn't matter if I do it, if Hassan does it, if anyone else does it. What matters is that you're wrong. What matters is that you spread false information to justify genocide. You spread lies to justify genocide. That is the problem. That is the issue. You are wrong whether Hassan refutes you, whether I refute you, whether anyone else refutes you, and you are still wrong if Hassan watches me refuting you. Why you keep focusing on this? Well, Hassan can't refute me. He has to rely on other people to refute me. Maybe that's true, but who fucking cares? What matters here isn't whether Hassan is capable or wants to refute you or not. What matters is that you are fucking wrong. What matters is the actual issues, the problems that you justify genocide.
at this point, he's probably consumed like at least 10 hours worth of content about my video.
So are you going to address that content about your video? Are you going to address all of the rebuttals to you that are in those videos that he's watched? Or are you just going to just complain that Hassan won't watch your video, only stream directly?
But he can only interface it through people like Bad Empanada, who threatened to get on a plane and come get me.
He's going to keep saying that as if he at all thinks it's serious. Oh my God. Do you ever get tired of pretending to be outraged, pretending to be a victim of anti-Semitism, just pretending to be a victim of everything? You have become a very good Israeli Zionist, Ethan Klein. You have adapted to the culture perfectly.
As today.
It's kind of comical how many videos of the nuke he's seen, but not the actual nuke. It's at this point, just watch it, you know?
Just watch it.
Why would you need to watch it when there's videos out there that explain with clear evidence how and why every little part of it is wrong? There's no reason to watch it. He doesn't need to watch it because ultimately what matters is that it's wrong. Not that he watches it or not. Like, you guys have the dumbest talking points imaginable. It's like, okay, so I might be wrong, but someone else proved me wrong, not you. Ha ha. Oh my God, the dumbest fuckers in the world.
I'll be honest with you. He knows he's cooked by it. The stuff in there.
If he's so cooked by it, then why can't you go and refute my video on it or the other people's videos on it that refuted every single fucking part of it?
There is indefensible. And like watching it laid out so plainly is going to be impossible to explain. And he knows that.
It was very easy to explain. I did it, I sat down for like 5 hours and did it really easily. Like, you have to understand that it took me only 5 hours to refute a 2 hour long video means that video is such total substanceless dog shit. Usually it should take like minimum like 4 or 5 times the amount of time to refute something as it does to actually bring it up in the first place. It was easy as shit to refute. It's just lie after lie that you can easily refute by Googling it. So no, he's not cooked by it. No one's cooked by it. He's fine. If anything, you're declining even more as a result of that. And he can just ignore it and move on with his life because ultimately it doesn't matter. You didn't do shit at all. All you did is Google generic Zionist talking points and threw them in there and just called brown people terrorists for 2 hours.
He knows that. And being a proud propagandist, he knows he needs to delegitimize the video, but he can't actually interact with the video.
The videos that he's watching are literally of me interacting with the video and refuting every single point of it.
every single fucking point in the video directly refuted on its merits, on the facts, on the arguments being made, on the evidence. Like, you're talking like it's fucking unassailable and no one can deal with it. He literally offered to come on your stream and deal with it directly with you live. I've offered to come on your stream and refute every single talking point you made in that video live. Many other people have offered to debate you on Israel-Palestine. You are too fucking cowardly to do so. All that you can do is complain. Oh, how dare you watch this person who refuted me? How dare you don't refute me directly yourself? As if whether or not I'm wrong depends on who refutes me rather than me being wrong.
So what he does is amplifies people like Bad Empanada, who he previously called one of the worst people in the world, that he would never show his videos on his channel. Just
because we disagreed on React content. Clearly, a genocide is way more important than that, isn't it, you dumb fuck?
a year ago. Did I mention just as recently as today, Bad Empanada threatened me? I know that Hassan was pretty troubled by Sam Hyde's threats against him. I remember him talking about him being like...
I mean, Sam Hyde was like challenging him to a fight.
You're disturbed and troubled by it. I find it odd that he would...
Understandably so.
Sure. I find it odd that he would seem not to care about it when it happens to me.
Imagine being such a cucked little baby bitch, so fragile that you have to pretend that a fucking stock image of a plane flying over California is like a real threat that you are shaken by. Like, it was so fucking amazing. Oh my god.
Whoa.
Jesus Christ.
It's a little catty and weird, considering I feel like our conflict at this point runs so deep. But I'm gonna pull it up anyway. Fuck it. Let me just
out of context would be to talk to me face to face instead of just watching me on a 30-second delay on your stream.
Wait, that's what I'm. Wait, how does he know I'm watching already?
Oh my god, he fucking got you. He got you. That's incredible. Like, dude, you won't debate me, you won't debate him, and it's so predictable that he can call what you're going to do literally as you do it, because it's all that you do. You are scared of direct confrontation. You are a meek, tiny, small little boy who is especially scared of direct confrontation because you know that it will go so badly for you that your IDF honeypot wife finally has enough and leaves. I just want to emphasize again, all of this is about the facts. All of this is just Ethan Klein lashing out because he knows that he's a fucking moron who cannot engage on the facts. He knows that if he engaged directly with my content, or he engaged directly in the debate with me or Hassan or like lots of other creators, he would be fucking destroyed and his talking points would be just wrecked forever. So instead, what he does is just ad hominem, ad hominem, ad hominem, constantly insisting that no one can refute him, no one can explain anything against him, when we've all done that many times already. We've refuted everything that he said. We've explained precisely how and why the things that we've said about him apply to him. He just pretends it does not exist, pretends that we are not challenging him to a debate every single day, that we're not ready to go on a moment's notice to his dumb fucking podcast and talk to him, or he can come onto our streams or whatever he wants. He pretends that's not happening to like his audience in a bubble of like just morons at this point, like total morons, numpty morons. Like, if he has gained any new audience members recently, they've just been Israeli Zionists. It's that simple. It's all about avoidance. Like, he challenges fucking random Reddit commenters to come on his podcast while avoiding me and Hassan. And not only avoids me, but he does like segments complaining about like the dumbest shit. Like, he doesn't do a segment responding to my arguments, to my rebuttals, to the evidence that I presented proving him wrong. He does a segment responding to an Instagram story where I said that he's cucked by his wife and spends like 3 minutes. So I think it's pretty clear by now that you should expect nothing from Ethan Klein, and it's mind-boggling that he continues to claim that he is pro-Palestinian, and it's even more mind-boggling given what he said on another idiotic podcast of his a couple of days ago. So Ethan Klein loves to claim that he is not a Zionist, and also that he's pro-Palestine, in spite of, you know, all the evidence showing that he very much isn't. You know, it's generally not normal for someone who's pro-Palestine to spend literally all of their time just attacking anyone who is pro-Palestine and who opposes literally every single pro-Palestinian action ever, basically. He outright said that he wants to go to Israel and, like, I guess make content to prove to everyone that there's no apartheid there. You know, it's actually a really nice country. Everything there is great. All in the wake of Israel doing an outright genocide in Gaza. Like, he didn't seem to care about Israel that much before. If anything, he sort of shit on it before October 7th. Like, you know, he'd moved there and he didn't really like it that much. That's obviously why he ended up moving back to the USA. But now he feels like this special connection with Israel. He wants to start selling it to people as like this awesome place. So let me show you another excellent pro-Palestinian action by Ethan Klein.
We're planning to go to Israel in June with my parents and all the kids. It's going to be such a great trip. And I'm actually really excited to go there. I want to show you guys.
You haven't been there in so long.
It's been a long fucking time. What I want to do is show you guys how I see Israel, because you don't see that. When you listen to Hassan and you hear all these fucking mega lefties talking about it like it's some super racist, like crazy, you know, like Jim Crow style of society. Like, I can't wait to show you guys how beautiful, how multicultural, how like free it feels for people, or just it's a beautiful place. It is. It's one of the most diverse places I've ever been.
So that right there is Ethan Klein outright saying that he is going to Israel in order to make like pro-Israel puff piece content to try and sell it to people as like this awesome, beautiful place where everything is actually really nice. And there's, as he outright said, that, you know, there's nothing Jim Crow, there's no segregation, there's no apartheid, there's nothing bad at all, actually. And this is all in the wake of the fucking Gaza genocide. Like, Ethan Klein is so pro-Palestinian that he wants to reward Israel for doing genocide. He doesn't think that you should boycott it. He wants to go there, do tourism, and film videos about how great and awesome Israel is in reaction to that. That's probably the most pro-Palestinian thing I've ever seen in my life. Wow, great job, dude. And just to say something that I've said many times before. Obviously, Israel is fucking great for someone like Ethan Klein, this American who moved there, got automatic citizenship just for an accident of his birth, just because he happens to be Jewish. Obviously, how he sees Israel is going to be great. I mean, he's like a member of the ethnic majority of like the group who this ethno-state, that's what Israel is, like an ethno-state that gives racial privileges to Jews. He's a member of that majority. Obviously, Israel should be great for him. But you know who it's not great for? The millions of Palestinians who these privileges exist at the cost of. Like, this guy is straight up like a white guy in the American South in 1940 telling you how, I don't understand this stuff about segregation and the racism and stuff. You know, the Southern US is actually pretty fucking great. You guys just aren't seeing it how I'm seeing it. It's really nice here. It's a beautiful country, such nice people. It's so diverse too. Like, look, forget about the black people out of frame. We get migrants here from all over the place. You know, we got Norwegians, we got the Irish, we got the Italians. It's such a great place for me. And if you only listen to those goddamn idiot anti-racist leftists, as they call themselves, you would think it was like this horrible place of apartheid and Jim Crow and segregation. But I want you to see it how I see it. It is the exact same fucking thing. Ethan Klein is like this rich white Jewish guy who voluntarily chose to move to Israel to receive privileges at the cost of Palestinians, to live on land stolen from Palestinians. And now he wants to go back to Israel in the wake of it doing an outright genocide. And he wants to do like public relations puff pieces on its behalf to disprove everyone who tells you that Israel, you know, which just did genocide, by the way, I have to keep reiterating that, to show you that in spite of all the bad things that everyone says about Israel, you know, this genocidal ethno-state that exists at the cost of one group of people for the benefit of another group of people, he wants to show you all how great and awesome that country actually is. I can already tell you precisely how this is going to go down. He's going to go there and he's going to try to find like one or two Palestinian citizens of Israel who are willing to like take money, or perhaps like Yosef Haddad or one of those famous propagandist collaborator guys. He's going to go and talk to them and he's going to be like, hey man, let's go around together and prove to everyone how in Israel there's actually no segregation and no apartheid because you, a Palestinian or an Arab, also live here. It's nothing like those fucking lefty crazies say. It's just so predictable. He's gonna like go around and be like looking at the landscape and stuff and say like, wow, this place is so beautiful. Take a look at these beautiful olive trees. Ignore the fact that we burn those of the Palestinians. Ultimately, Ethan Klein is not only a dumbass, but an exceptionally callous one. What he's doing here is no different to someone with like German ancestry going to Germany in like 1935 to write like a gushing journalistic article about how awesome Germany is and how you shouldn't listen to what they say about what Germany's doing to the Jews. And now it's actually really beautiful, and the people there are so nice, and things are going so well for them under the new Führer. We need to look at this as precisely what it is. This is someone who wants to do genocide propaganda. It's someone who wants to do colonial propaganda. It's someone who wants to whitewash apartheid, who wants to whitewash oppression, who wants to whitewash this colonial ethno state that exists for the benefit of people like him at the expense of millions of other people. It's so fucking insane too that he claims to be pro-Palestine. And I get comments to this day from absolute morons saying that he's pro-Palestine because he said Netanyahu is bad and he donated $6,000 to a charity once. And then here he is, right fucking here, being like, you know, I'm going to break the boycott of Israel. I'm going to go do tourism there. Not only that, but I'm going to film like a propaganda piece about how awesome Israel is for me and mine. Never mind the fact that the whole problem that people have with Israel has nothing to do with people saying that it's bad for Jews like me. That Israel is good for you, that is, you find it beautiful and awesome all of a sudden, though. Again, that contradicts what he has said in the past about how much he hated living there. Doesn't say shit about the reason why people hate Israel. The reason why people hate Israel is because millions of people need to be dispossessed, oppressed, and massacred for it to be so great for people like you. I mean, just look at what Ethan Klein actually said when he was living in Israel. And just to be clear for the YouTube censors, what I'm about to show you is hate speech, and I denounce it entirely. I'm showing it for documentary purposes, and I completely disavow every single thing that Ethan Klein says in this clip.
That's the home of the Jew. The Jewy Jew, not just this Jew like me or Ela. But this is home of the super Jew. The Jew, the dirty, grimy, jacket-wearing Jews. Real dirty ass. Nasty. You know what I mean? It's like, who can look more Jewish? Boom. It's like it doesn't end. I mean, come on.
So does that sound like someone to you who loved Israel and thought it was a beautiful place with lots of beautiful people and no segregation and nothing bad? Or does it sound like someone who looked out the window in Israel and hated everything they saw in the most vile way possible, in fact? Because to me, it sounds like the latter. But now Ethan Klein has rediscovered his previously non-existent love for Israel only after Israel has done genocide and